Good afternoon, everybody. As I promised, I am going to do another video on using the cams for the 9000 series Kenmore sewing machine. Now, there's a couple things that I would like to bring to your attention. I don't know if any of your machines would have these items, but this machine came with a series of accessories for this machine. And before we get into doing the cams and going to the stitch expander for number 2, I want to show you some of the things that comes with the 9000 series sewing machine. Of course, we looked at the cams, and this is the cam box. This is the original one, and there are the cams. Well, in addition to this, we also have several other items that were offered. This one, for example, is another feature that was offered with this machine, and this is for doing buttonholes. Now, as you can see, there are different types of dies that you can use. Each one is a different kind, and we'll be doing another video with regards to this particular accessory. We're not going to cover this today, but I thought it'd be nice to show you some of the additional extras that they gave with the machine. In addition to the buttonhole accessory kit, they also had a sew by color accessory kit, and of course, naturally, it came with a book and several of them in a row. And these are some of the accessories that came with it. That will be a completely separate video, and we will go into greater depth with regards to trying to use this particular type of accessory. And then the other thing that they also had was they offered a bobbin holder. Yes, it's nice to have one of these, and you do have inside my cabinet, I do have bobbin holders. Well, I use them for bobbin holders, but they can be also used for thread. And I have thread caddies for what I use when I'm sewing. So these are just a couple of the things that they offer with regards to the Sear Kenmore sewing machine. Now, we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the stitch expander. Now, as if we covered, I already have a cam inside. We're going to be using number 21. And remember, we have to turn this to 1 or 2. But because I'm showing you what this does when it's on 2 and the variation that is seen when you put it onto the machine. So, of course, we got to go to number 2. We come over to here, and we go to AR, because this is 21 through 30. The other button is your stitch length, and for this particular one, they called for 3/4 of an inch. Now, let's move on. Remember, at position number 2 makes the pattern double length without any change in the stitch length. In order to operate the stitch expander, you turn the knob clockwise until it clicks in position, with the marking on the lining up with the point on the control plate. Variations for pattern length, which are illustrated right here by my finger. So, with that being said, we are using a stitch expansion for cams 21 through 30, and I have cam number 21 currently in the machine. More intricate patterns are made with the automatic reverse cams. Set the needle position at AR and vary the other settings to product pattern desired. Now, we talked about this, that the changes in these knobs here will be important at one point. And like I said, the ones that you're more concerned with are these two right here. Now, I've already made an example of what number 1 would be. So I'm going to kind of explain to you what it's doing. Now, at the number 1 setting, this particular design is approximately 1 inch from this point to 1 inch at that point. Now, when you use the stitch expander on 2, it doubles it. It now is gone from 1 inch to 2 inches. And this is how I'm illustrating the difference in the length of stitch when it comes to the stitch expansion. Now, at a later time, I'm going to do a third video. And on that third video, we're going to deal with using a double needle. Now, like I showed you before, I do have a double needle. And I'm going to try to find it so that I can bring it out and show you the double needle. And there it is. Okay, so when I go to use that, I will better explain what needs to be done when you're using a double pattern, in which you'll have to utilize this and this needle or thread holders. And then that's when it comes down to here to the tensioner, where we're going to use one in this slot, one in the front slot, and then everything else will remain the same. The only thing that'll be different is when we insert the needle into the machine, then you'll have 2 different colors that will show up when it goes to begin its decorative stitch. And like I said, it becomes really pretty looking depending on the type of cam that you're using. So with that, all we are going to cover today is the stitch expander on number 2 and what it looks like when the machine does all the work. So as always, happy sewing and have a good day, everybody. And like I said, look forward to the next video in which I will be demonstrating the double needle, and we'll be putting it into the machine so that we can sew a decorative pattern, and it'll be like being a mirror, one right next to each other. So have a good day, everybody, and bye-bye.